What's up, Summit? This is Up in Summit, a show about what's actually happening across Summit County. My name is Shiro. I'm a longtime Colorado transplant, skier, mountain biker, and my work is in digital marketing.
And I'm Ariel. I'm a born and raised local business owner. Shout out to everything Colorado and community member.
Here's what you can expect each episode: a conversation about a local community topic, business headlines, and our favorite upcoming events.
Whether you're a local, visit often, or passing through, this show is for people who care about mountain life. And if you have a tip, event, or idea, send us a message.
Cool. Well, here's a bit of an interesting news piece here. Epic Mountain Resorts and Alterra are both getting sued because of the consumer prices going up so much. I'll give you a little bit of a background on it. So, the primary legal basis, which I pulled from Westward, is that it's a class action complaint on the two companies that they have violated federal and state antitrust laws because of things too close related to a monopoly and collusion. And yeah, essentially, like, basically because there are two like oligopolies, there's anti-competitive um, things going on. And I think that their argument is going to be against the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission. Basically, like, other businesses aren't able to enter the market. Some of their big citations are just around the price inflation. In 1963, a ticket at Vail and Steamboat were $5, and then $13 at Steamboat for the day. And this past season, some of the resorts exceeded $300 a day. Now, so this class action lawsuit is really, I think, focused more on the daily lift ticket prices, and I think that's going to be their angle. But yeah, it's super interesting that they're doing this. I think this happened a few years ago too, but it's interesting that it's been brought back up again. What do you think, Ariel?
Well, I think that the daily lift ticket prices are way too expensive. I think that it has been crazy how much they've increasing. They've been increasing over the years. Obviously, they're trying to gear people towards buying the season pass, which is probably better for the resorts or Icon and Epic because then they get all their money up front, right? And people are locked in. So if the season's not very good or you don't end up using your pass, they are still getting those sales. I think that $300 is way too much for a lift ticket. And I get it. Like, it's hard because it costs money to run these resorts. It costs money to pay your people, to upgrade lifts. That's absolutely true. And I think that there's definitely a lot of positives to the ski passes. But honestly, if you like to ski, I would say the pass is at this point way better than getting a ticket. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm I'm a big time skier, so buying a season pass has been ingrained in my blood since, I don't know, high school, when I started getting season passes. So it's completely normal for me, and I think, yes, the season passes for what you get are not absurd. And I think I went on the internet to see what other people were saying. Most people were like, "Oh yeah, it's actually not a bad deal. My season pass price actually came down." I
Hmm.
remember my local mountain, or one of my local mountains in Washington, was Crystal Mountain, and this is in 2009. I think their season pass was around $1,000 or more. And so I think the first Epic pass that included them was still less than that, and you got access to all the other resorts. So yes, the season pass is still a good deal, but the daily lift ticket prices are astronomical. If you're someone who's just getting into it, or your family that visits every year, you may not know to get the pass yet, especially if it's your first and second year. So I think the barrier to entry is extremely high. And I don't think the daily lift ticket prices should be that high.
Yeah. I think that the hardest thing is that they stop selling season passes. So it's not like you will get here and let's say that you aren't seasoned and you don't understand that the lift tickets are so expensive. And even you're thinking, oh, it'll be 100 or 150 bucks, and it changes, so it could be up to $300 per person per day. And you might actually be like, oh, we're here for a week. A season pass would be way better, but they stopped selling those passes in December. So it forces people into buying those day tickets, which it would be interesting to me, maybe if they just sold season passes all season long.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think like one of the positives to the pass and the positives to Epic and Icon is how much it fosters traveling and trying new mountains. Because I remember growing up here and I was like, why would I ever ski Vail? Because I have Breckenridge, Keystone A Basin, and I never skied Copper because it wasn't on that pass. If someone can reach out and let me know if they've ever heard of the Cab Pass, it was Keystone A Basin Breck. I swear it was a thing. But yeah, I had never skied Copper until a couple of years ago when Icon kind of came about, and it was like, oh, okay, well, now we can kind of compete with like we can go to Steamboat, we can go to Aspen, Winter Park, but not just that. You can go all over the world. You can go to other states, and so I think the season pass, while they are expensive, is great for skiing because it really encourages you to try different mountains. But the day lift tickets are just crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know if this information is even publicly accessible, but it'd be interesting to figure out how much of their mountain use, so like ski tickets revenue, comes from season passes versus day tickets. But yeah, I think if they didn't cut off the season passes, this wouldn't be such an issue, but they do. So yeah, I wonder what that spread is like.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Vail Resorts and Icon do their research. Like they're massive companies, so I'm sure that they see the benefit in restricting those prices because I think a lot of people panic by them, especially if you live in a state like Colorado where or Utah where you're pressured, like, are you gonna get a pass this year? And then you feel that pull of I gotta get it and which one do I get? Like you and I bought a 3-day Vail pass this year and our Icon passes and because of the season and how it's been and then also like the days that we have traveled this season, I've only used one of my Vail days, but I still bought the pass.
Okay, so I quickly looked up at least Vail, and I don't know how old this information is, but it says about um, the vast majority of Lyft revenue is made from advanced purchase products like the Epic Pass or Epic Day Passes. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting if it's at 74%, right? So
Oh,
if it's that high, like, do you even need the daily tickets to be that high? Like, it's interesting how they come to that pricing. I know they push people towards it by increasing their daily tickets, but I feel like who gets the crappy end of that stick is people who are visiting and want to try skiing and snowboarding out. And so, yeah, I think it just creates this huge barrier into the sport, which if you own a bunch of ski mountains, shouldn't you want more people coming into the sport? It's a very interesting thing that they're doing. I know that there's smarter people and more data people who've analyzed this, and I'm sure it comes down to the fact that they just want higher income folks coming into the sport, and that's part of their plan, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting that it's actually that high. If it was like 50-50, I could understand why they want to keep those daily ticket prices so high. But if, a good three-fourths of the revenue is coming from advanced purchases like ski passes and or ski season passes, yeah, it's very interesting to see that.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't encourage spontaneity if you don't have the pass because I've had friends reach out and say, "Oh, I really want to come to Colorado." And then they look into it and they realize that a pass is $250, $300 for one day of skiing. And you're going to have to ski all day long, which is also not fun. It's more fun to ski a few hours and enjoy your day than feel like you need to squeeze every dollar out of it. I will say that this year, Epic gave better discounts for like the buddy or friend ski with a friend passes. I think it was 50% off, which in the past it's been like 25% off. So that was actually massive because I think it does encourage people to come with people that do have passes and to at least get a discount that way.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts. What do you think about Epic and Alterra being sued? Do you want the daily ticket prices to go down or not? I say yes. Let's get those daily ticket prices down. Let's make skiing more accessible to people who want to come up for a day or two. But I'm happy about the prices of season passes. Yes, they do go up every year, but I still think it's a good deal. I think it's starting to teeter on whether or not it's a good deal because it's rising higher than inflation is, but I still think it's a good deal. Whether you go with the Epic or Icon, it gives you great access to a lot of mountains. But
I have
again,
something else to say.
go for it.
Also, I've seen some posts going around Instagram comparing the price of skiing in another country compared to skiing in the US. and that it's actually cheaper to go to another country than to ski here. And I think that's awesome. Like, it's so fun to ski in other countries, but we also don't want to push people away to come to our resorts as well. So I think that's something that we should be mindful of, because I know obviously it's more time to go to another country because it's a lot farther away, but we don't want to outprice ourselves. So people are preferring to go somewhere else than ski inside the country.
Yeah, this is true as well. What countries are you referring to?
Well, I mean, obviously Japan, because we've skied in Japan. Everyone wants to ski in Japan, but I've heard other countries too, like in Europe and even India.
India? I didn't even know there were ski resorts there.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've seen it compared to quite a few countries. So
Okay, well, hopefully we see those daily ticket prices come down. Otherwise, yeah, pass is the way to go, unfortunately. Well, with that, do you have any upcoming updates for us?
yeah, so we have a ton of new business updates, which is super exciting. We have India's Spice, which is in Frisco on Main Street, where Casa Sanchez was. So they've been open for about a month. I have not been yet, but I checked out their online reviews. They have a ton of them, and they are all really good. So I am really excited to try them out. This is a family owned business, and the owners are from Nepal. They actually gave this business a try in Denver, but I think the location wasn't really hitting. So it sounds like they are coming to Frisco, and I want to give them a warm welcome. I'm so excited. I want to support more global cuisine in the mountains, so go support them. Next, we have Talk Mex, which is a new spot in Silverthorne where Plain Jane Liquors used to be, and it's a ramen and Mexican snack shop. So that's also owned and operated by a local family. There's a new jewelry store in the town center of Dillon called Joyeria La Moi Moi. And I might be saying that wrong. So cool little jewelry store. And then right next to that is Second Life Thrift Store in the Dillon Town Center. And they are right by Dillon Coffee Lab. So that's kind of getting a little bit of a new vibe. There is a new distillery tasting room in Breck, Mythology Distillery, which is based out of Steamboat Springs, right next to Rootstock. There is another basement bar in Breck opening, El Perro Negro, and they are staying open a little bit later till midnight on weekends, so you can go get a little late night snack. Unfortunately, Pug Ryan's Brewery is closing after a long run, and the town of Dillon has purchased this property, and they're working with the Colorado Mountain College to explore future possibilities for the property. So that's kind of exciting. And again, in Dillon, there's a few more projects that are starting. So there's construction that is set to start in the middle of April in Dillon at the Waterview Residences, formerly known as Uptown 240. So that big pit is going to be fixed up and turned into some residences. And last but not least, the movie theater is in the process of being sold. And this is going to be a new long-term housing development. And they're proposing to be apartments that are long-term leases, like 6 to 12 months. So not short-term rentals, long-term leases, though. That'd be great. More housing for locals.
Yeah, and did they say how many units they're planning on building? If they get the approval, it's like 100 or 150, right?
I can't remember.
I think it's somewhere in there. But yeah, it's they're essentially just like apartments you would see in like a downtown.
Yeah.
Long-term leases. They are not going to be available for purchase. However, yeah, they're going to be geared towards people who want to live here long-term, which is awesome. We always need more housing, and it's going to be much more affordable than buying a place here, right? And so hopefully it creates that or it fills that gap between people who are trying to look for a little bit better housing upgrades from what they have right now, but obviously can't afford to purchase a home here, which is extremely high ceiling or high barrier into entry. So I think that'll be good.
Yeah, and it will offer an opportunity for I think it'd be a great way for people to enter the community too, because there's a bit more availability. It's just hard to find a place up here,
Yeah, I completely agree. What do you got for events?
All right. So events coming up On Thursday, April 2nd, Saved by the Wine is doing round 2 of their singles mixer. So they're having a Gaper Bay mixer with in-person dating profiles. So everybody is welcome. And the last one was super fun. And I recommend everyone go to it. Silverthorne has First Friday on April 3rd. They're having a creative district celebration. I'll throw in a shameless plug. Everything Colorado Silverthorne is participating in this. We're going to have food tasting from our Palisade farmers. And we're also opening the back of our shop up so you can see how we print our t-shirts and that whole process. So come out and check it out. But there's a whole spread along the whole river. So it's going to be really fun. And you're going to see kind of what Silverthorne's been working on making this creative district. So I'm excited. On Saturday, April 4th, Copper is having a slopeside sips and sets at Downhill Dukes, presented by Mountain Dew, and DJ Littlefoot is taking over the deck. Those are always really fun, so we love a DJ at Downhill Dukes.
Shout out to Littlefoot, my homie.
Same day, April 4th, Eagle Barbecue is having a fundraiser for the High Fives Foundation, which includes raffle tickets, and they are raffling off a Copper Mountain 2627 ski pass. And they're donating some of that money to the High Fives Foundation, which helps injured athletes recover from life-changing injuries. That's pretty cool. On Saturday 4th, if you want to go to Breck, they're having the Imperial Challenge. This is a fun pseudo triathlon where community members gather and they start at the town of Breck. They race to the top of Peak 8. So you start in town, you can walk, run, or bike up to the base of Peak 7. Then you transition over to uphill skis or split board. And then you go all the way up to the top of Peak 8 before racing back down. So it's 4,000 feet of elevation gain, approximately 10 miles. Spandex, tutus, and costumes are encouraged.
Wait, so you don't take the lift up for that?
No. You go
You have to
all the
skin
way
up.
up by yourself.
Do you skin up?
Human powered. Yes. Skin up.
That's a lot.
Should we do it?
I'm good. I'm a 1,000 foot max.
Yeah. Unless it's a mountain bike, right? All right. And then on Saturday and Sunday, April 4th and 5th, Keystone has their closing weekend. So they have a spring-tastic rail jam and pond skimmed for this closing weekend. It looks pretty fun. Also, Easter at a Basin. This is a historic event. April 5th, they are having 2 Easter egg hunts. I remember doing this as a kid. And if your kids like Easter egg hunts, this is a must. Gosh, we have so much going on next weekend. So Summit Splitfest is also happening Friday and Saturday, April 3rd and 4th, which is daily touring across Summit County's backcountry. And then they're also doing Opry happy hours at Outer Range. They're doing gear demos. They have guest speakers, a massive gear raffle, and a chance to find your community. Don't skin alone. Next, on Thursday, April 9th, there's Dine Out for a Cause, which is at Pure Kitchen, where a portion of sales will be donated to Smart Belly's weekend food program. And I had to throw it in there. Bootan Fest is coming up the weekend of April 10th. This is not in Summit County, but this is the largest ski and snowboard festival for women and genderqueer folks. It's at Sunlight Mountain in Glenwood. And they're already closed for the season, but the event is looking to pop off. So all the females, all the femmes, get your tickets and go because it looks so fun. I've heard the best things about this event. However, if you are in Summit County that weekend, have you ever wanted to ski past 4 p.m. in the spring? Because now you can. Copper is offering a pass holder party laps starting at the Airy at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday, April 10th. And they're kicking off the weekend with free after hours party laps. And you can enjoy after hours skiing with a DJ at the Airy. Keep the energy high. They'll have the bar open, the food open. So let's celebrate the home stretch of winter with soft spring turns and some serious opera vibes. And last but not, there's 2 more actually. Then on Saturday, April 11th, you can enjoy Emo Night at 10 Mile Music Hall. They've done this before and I heard it was a blast. So you can get some angst out at that. And Country Boy Mine is also doing a locals go free from April 13th to April 30th for all of their activities. And this is a Michelin rated experience. So I feel like everybody should go try it because how cool is that? And that's it.
Oh, that was a mouthful, but I'm excited there's all these events going on because It's clearly it feels like June right now. There's no snow outside our house. It's completely melted. I went mountain biking yesterday, which was the 28th of March in Frisco Peninsula, and I thought I was gonna have to walk my bike through snow patches. None, which is crazy, but it's good to see all this activity happening, and hopefully we get, a different crowd of folks up here sooner, the hikers, the bikers, and as we transition. And maybe we don't even have mud season this year. Maybe we talk about that in our next episode.
Yeah. The best ski season we've ever had. 6.
Right. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks again for tuning in and check us out on the next episode.
Thank you.